Welcome to the Clark County Fire District's Board of Commissioners meeting. It is December 21st, 2021. We're going to call the meeting to order and ask Casey to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Is there any additions to the agenda?
None here.
None here.
Okay. We need to read and approve the minutes of the December 7th board meeting.
I read the meeting minutes, and the only correction I can see is when I made a mention of Ocean Shores explosion, it was actually surf tides. It was on the Long Beach Peninsula, not in Ocean Shores, but north of Ocean Park in surf tides. With that correction, I would make a motion to accept and present as necessary.
Second.
Moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We did have several pieces of correspondence.
Yeah.
Yes, did you want me to?
Sure, would you mind?
We had a cadet thank you card, a Cressa card for holidays, and a Kindness 911 thank you card.
Very nice. Okay, citizen communication. This is the time during the board meeting we set aside for any citizens who may wish to speak to the board concerning any District 6 issues. If you are watching on YouTube and you have any questions or comments, there's a place to comment on the side. Type your comment or your question in there, and Chief Schmidt will watch for those to come in as we go through the board meeting. Community reports, health and safety, no. Risk management, no. Triple FB.
I don't think we had one. I got a canceled meeting notice and I accepted that cancellation, so no report, sir.
Perfect. Consent agenda, gentlemen.
Move for approval.
Second.
Moved and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Chief's report. Go right down the line, Chief, please.
November 2021 overtime report, the district paid $122,455.53 in overtime. The majority of that was shift replacement called in overtime at $95,000 and some change. For the budget performance report, expenditures should be at 91.6. Out of 6212, we have expended 58.8, and out of 6242, again, it should be 91.6, and we've expended 75.4.
That's phenomenal, isn't it, Chief?
It is good. Some of the differences is in that 6212, we are carrying a large sum for the building project that we anticipate will be over what we got for the bonds. So it kind of skews those numbers.
Okay.
And to get us to first half taxes.
So it's not totally
Yes.
up to over.
Enough to get to first half taxes, which is 4 months worth.
In the chief's report, I did list, the commissioners asked for mutual aid responses, so you do have a report in there that's mutual aid responses. These aren't any different than what we've been tracking about every month. It's 2 to 1 almost for Clark for the month of November and year to date, and we're about 50-50 with Vancouver.
Thank you for including these. It's nice to see on a monthly basis the consistency behind it. So
14 and 3 is.
Is this the part where you're going to address the disproportionate numbers with Clark Fur?
I didn't have that today in today's board's
We're going to
presentation.
do that on the 11th.
Okay, but we got it in our packet, though, don't you? I mean, I saw it in here.
Yeah, that's what I think the chief's speaking to right now. This number 7 is in the board packet.
So mutual responses.
Right. Okay, anyway, you mentioned the city, and I just wanted to know if you were going to talk about the Clark Fur, and that's not going to happen until next year?
The board asked that I report out monthly on mutual aid responses.
Okay.
So that's just this monthly report.
Okay, anyway, so
But it's tracking the same as what
the
we
trend continues.
The trend
Yes.
continues.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah. It's just a different format to present it to you.
I get it. Thank you. That's a good format.
For the COVID-19 update, we're back up in cases. So we're trending upwards. Trying to find your number per thousand. So we're at 273.6 per 100,000 right now. And then you also have the influenza update in your packet. And we're starting to see a spike in flu in our area. Facilities update, I will turn that over to Chief Newberry.
Chief. So, as far as Station 61's remodel, we received the 60% drawings and the cost estimate for the 60% set. I presented that to the fire chief for her review, I think yesterday. So that we do have that now. We've submitted the package for the land use application. I believe Kathy did that today. We got the signed paperwork back to her today, so it will be either done today or tomorrow. And so all of that information, I believe, will be disseminated if it hasn't already been disseminated to you for your consumption. 62, we're still dealing with those supply chain issues on getting our lights from China, and I don't know when we're going to get them. I wish I did.
They're offshore of
Long Beach. Yeah. I wanted to take this opportunity to answer any other questions that you might have on the training storage building at Station 63. We've had an opportunity to speak to most everybody to kind of fill in the blanks, but just for the populace to understand. Last board meeting, the chief presented some rough numbers, estimates on a storage building that we are proposing for the Station 63 training site. The purpose of that building is to store extra training equipment and materials and keep things out of the weather, and then also to have a covered meeting area for crews that they could be out of the elements in between training sessions. It would be located on the west side of the fueling or the proposed fueling site out there. It has 2 bays and a large covered area. The price on that is hard to tell definitively. We know what the package price is for the metal building, which is
$84,175.
yeah, okay, I'm just trying to, $84,175. We are anticipating, they've told us that we will have a 10% price increase in January, 30 days from the point of their bid, which is, I think, going to be January 4th. And so if we want to avoid that 10% increase in materials, we would need to take action tonight on purchasing that kit. The second half of that is who's going to build it for us, and there was discussion last board meeting about packaging it up and sending it to a contractor to bid the whole project, buying the kit and doing all the work in one package. Through some of our research that I've done, we've found that it's at least a 10% markup to do it that way. So the contractor would purchase the kit and then mark it up an additional 10%. So if we do not approve and commit to purchasing this kit the way that we have proposed, where we buy the kit and then we hire somebody to erect it, much like we did the training tower, we will be looking at a 20% markup just in the kit itself. We believe we can get competitive bids through the Small Works roster bidding process to build the building. It's not rocket science, and so unfortunately, because we haven't put it out to bid yet, we don't know exactly what those building costs will be, but that's where I put the estimate in. Of the 3 people that we contacted, which were preferred vendors from the new core of the building, that the manufacturer of the building, 2 of them responded. One of them told me it'd be about $250,000. One of them told me it'd be about $300,000. So that's where that range came from. That won't be dialed in until we put it out to bid. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is right now. And then lastly, to accomplish this project, we will utilize Brian Snur's services to drop all the contracts and the the bid package and making sure that we're following all the rules. We haven't done a project of this size without somebody doing it, basically leading us. So we would utilize Brian Snur's services for that. So I hope that answers all of your questions, but I'm happy to speak on anything you might
Does the
want to talk
250 to 300 include overhead doors and man doors and
Yes.
power, water, any of that?
So we will have power. We will not have water. We don't have waste lines over there to have a bathroom or anything with, but we could easily have a water spigot outside of it because we do have water right next to the building. The electrical is at the corner of the building. The conduit is already run to that point. We did that before we paved and before we poured concrete out there.
So part of that would include like lights and overhead
Yes,
doors.
there's basically, and that's
It's more than just the kit.
Yes, they call it MEP, which is mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, but that's basically a finished product. That's all, and those are unknowns. If we were to put in, some amazing, I don't know, systems out there, it would cost a lot more. And so that's why they balk at putting any kind of a hard number without doing an actual bid and look at the spec. So.
Are there folks you mentioned the small works roster, are there folks on that roster that are approved? I think last meeting we talked of this Nucor had specific folks that do the installation or setup. Are these folks the same or are they different?
That's a bit of a difficult question to answer. Our small works roster is 10 pages long, about 8-point font.
Yeah.
And many of them are no longer even in business.
Mm-hmm.
So invariably what happens is we put them through the approval process to get them on the small works roster so that they can bid that project plus any other number of projects that those other agencies that share that roster with us. So it's not unheard of. It's not improper for us to do it that way. And that if they're not on that list, then we will ensure that they do get on that list. Okay.
Yeah, I think you can take that list and they can be a specialized contractor or whatever, and you can get that done with that because they're a special contractor who specializes in installing this business. Yeah, right. So you can work your way around that, I think. And I was part of the inquiry as to the process and looking elsewhere. And while after our meeting, I made a few phone calls myself. And in this environment, I believe you're on track with the way that you need to purchase this. And I think you are going to save your 10% by doing it before the end of the year, and you are going to save the 10% by not having the contractor, purchase it too. So by the time you had the contractor purchase it after the first of the year, you're going to lose your 10% there, and then you're going to lose another 10% by the time he marks it up. So I think you're on the right track, and I think we should approve this tonight and let you guys get going on, getting your contractor going.
Thank you.
So there's 20%.
Thank you.
Yeah, so with that, I make a motion that we move forward with the proposal in front of us to buy this Nucor building systems.
Second.
Moved in second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much, Board. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your homework.
Anything else, Chief? Okay, old business, policy 1053, uniform regulations.
So I presented to the board policy 1053 uniform regulations at last meeting. I'm asking that we delay the second reading of that to the first meeting in January. The reason being there's parts of that policy that touch the current CBA that's being voted on. And also I just had the first opportunity to meet with the local yesterday. So we just need a little more time.
Okay. We already did the Station 6th Street Training Storage Building negotiations.
So today and tomorrow, the local is voting on the tentatively agreed upon CBA, and so we won't have an answer this meeting, but hopefully in the next couple of days we will know.
Okay. Part-time maintenance position.
We're still working through the caveats of this. When we negotiated Pat's contract, we said that a part-time maintenance person that served the district for 4 years, we would give health insurance to. We ran into a couple problems with that where you have to work 20 hours in order to get health insurance through the Washington Fire Commissioner's plan. Pat's not opposed to working 20 hours per week, but once you do that, then it puts him into PERS, and his contribution into PERS is about just a little over 6.3%. So then the question is how do we handle that? Do you give health insurance and take a pay cut, or do we make up the difference? So staff still needs a little more time to work on those numbers for him. But
If he's willing to work, 20 hours a week. Is there a way we could give him a money towards a health insurance policy of his choice, like an additional, I don't know what we would call it. And then he could go out and find his own insurance if he didn't want to be on ours, give him a portion towards, as part of his contract.
that's an option. The problem with that is they're really expensive, especially when you're over 60. And so I'm trying to find what those options are for him, but
How many hours is he currently working?
16 on average.
His contract is such that he can work X amount of hours per year. And normally during the winter months, he works fewer hours. In the summer months, he works more hours. And so we would just have to, it wouldn't be that he'd be working more hours necessarily. It would be just that he would be taking some of his summer hours and putting them into the winter time and having a higher average per week.
So I hope to have a more firm proposal for you by the first meeting in January.
Okay.
Just waiting on some insurance numbers.
So the 20-hour week is holding it up through our insurance?
Correct.
Okay. Might ask about that. Oh, have you talked to him?
Tina did, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's 20 hours a week or an average of the 80 hours a month. So it can fluctuate between week to week. It just has to come out to those 80 hours.
Airbag purchase cost update.
So in at the August 3rd meeting, the board approved the purchase for airbags for the TRT team for a total of $26,509.11. When we went to order those, that was an old bid, so the new bid came in at $27,494.84. That's a difference of $985.73, and I wasn't sure if that needed board approval since it's a change in the original.
It's on the state auditor always appreciates that. So, and this is budgeted. We knew it was coming. We can
Yes.
absorb it. All those things. Okay.
How come the delay, and why, they said that was the original bid. By the time we got around to it, after we made the motion, put in the order, they said, hey, this is no longer the price. The new price is $985 more. Is that the way it went down?
Essentially, but they gave us the bid beginning of last year. I think it was a while ago, and so we thought we needed due diligence. We worked with Chief Russell, Battalion Chief Todd, and Firefighter Dunlap to ensure that this was a purchase that the district actually needed, because airbags are one of those tools that you don't use often, but when you need them, you need them. So we went through the process of vetting the purchase, and so we delayed that bid. The delay came from us, not from
But when you
Curtis.
came to us, did you immediately go out there and say, we want this for this
No,
price?
we waited to.
So even after we approved it,
Correct.
then there was a delay in
They're
the
making sure.
price increase. Okay. I thought they were like, we need it and this is the price, and so anyway, just wanted to know how that
What's
went
good
down.
for? Are they good for 10 years? What are they?
You have the expert here.
15 years?
Yes, sir.
So
Sorry, ma'am.
every 15 years, or unless one gets damaged, we're good.
Yes, sir.
What are we gonna do with the old ones? We have somebody that
That's up to you guys, but I know that there's some people in other countries that could use the system that we have. The bags work phenomenal. It's just it's a United States sort of thing that we can send to other places and people can get use out of them. But you guys make that, or she makes that decision.
Why don't you work with the chief on that? Let us know.
Third world country. So we're not
Can't use-
liable.
can't use the state. As long as they're
For
liable.
the price difference.
My only thing is just like, I don't want this to keep happening. I mean, if you approve it, however,
This was,
if we need it.
this wasn't a fault of the vendor, this was a fault of mine.
Thanks for owning it. I don't have a problem, so I'll move that we accept the $985.73 increase to purchase the airbags.
Second?
Moved in second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? So moved. Hiring 2022.
So, the board at previous meeting allowed hiring for vacant positions. We had talked about maybe having the potential to hire 4 additional positions because of a potential of staffing Rescue 151 with Clark County Fire and Rescue. I don't anticipate that Clark County Fire and Rescue will agree to that staffing model that we proposed. However, we're averaging about $100,000 a month in shift replacement overtime overall in the district. Total overtimes in about the $130,000 range. About 80% of the time we have at least one overtime shift on shift, if not more. So I would like to propose to the board that we hire 5. One of those would be to help alleviate some of those overtimes, and the other additional one would be for what we anticipate to be a vacancy midway through the year. When we march out the academy, we don't get these new personnel online until about August, and we anticipate at least one more vacancy sometime before then. And so this would be a proactive way of staffing. It doesn't affect our budget because then when we go to hire for the truck the following year, we'll reevaluate and see if we need 4 or if we need less based on what we have for current staffing.
Chief, remind me, how many current vacancies are there?
There are 3,
3 currently, so this would be
Yes.
overage of 2.
yes.
Well, we do anticipate 1 vacancy
Yeah.
next year. So it'd be an additional 1.
1.
So that, so 1 shift would have 1 more than the other.
One shift would have 21, not including the BC. The other 2 would have 20.
So you asking for something here tonight? The authority to hire 5 more?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We'd like to get the announcement out as soon as possible because it takes about
Replacement,
6
2
months to
additional?
get them going.
What, so yeah, can you refresh me on what that timeline looks like? You would be recruiting now and then,
So I'll let Chief Schmidt speak to that because he has the timeline marched out for us.
So we're looking at 2 different models. One would be a lateral potential class, one would be an entry level. So the lateral class only takes 4 weeks to get them ready. And then the entry level would take 12 to 13 weeks to get them ready. So we're looking at, a staggered, doing the lateral to fill in the positions we have right now that are vacant, and then take a little more time to get the other ones filled. So it's about 30 weeks from the time we do the initial offering out there, the announcements, to the time they graduate for the entry level.
So we have 3 vacancies right now that we're covering with overtime for the most part.
Correct.
are you able to forecast the impact that this has on your overall overtime by adding those 3 additional, or up to, I guess, 2 additional spots to make it 5? Are you able to forecast what that looks like overall,
Well,
the impact?
rudimentary math would just say that it's about a third reduction in that callback. So that 100,000 that we're paying of that overtime chunk per month, it would be reduced by 30,000. That's if we keep the department healthy. We've had a lot of
Number of
long-term
people off,
illnesses, and so that's been hurting us with overtime as well.
Yeah.
But again, it would be moving hiring up a year from what we anticipated that we were going to do in 2023.
We're only moving up 1 position though.
Yes.
Right, 1 position of the anticipated, okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
And that position would be absorbed as one of the 5 we're gonna hire when we do a truck, or?
Well, then we reevaluate when we open up the truck company. We anticipated that we'd hire 4, so we may be looking at only hiring 3.
Okay.
Unless there's unforeseen circumstances that we haven't anticipated.
Unforeseen circumstances, could that be translated to negotiations in the CBA? Would that have anything to do with this?
No. It's more to do with retirements that we're unaware of or personnel.
You're gonna
wanting
need
to-
it, no matter what.
Yes,
We have a lot of folks that are eligible for retirement.
it's getting them ready to go online before we have the holes.
Yeah, and then the costs go up just at that time, so. We need a motion now to move forward with that
Yes.
plan as that's outlined? Okay, I'll make a motion to move forward with the hiring plan as it's outlined for 2022.
Support that with the second.
Moved and seconded, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank
So
you.
moved, thank you. Any other old business? New business, 2021 year in review.
So this is a pretty lengthy document. I don't know if the board wants me to go over it or just hit the highlights, but
Well, I think we've all read it.
okay.
Can we post it on the website for the public and the cruise and whatever?
I would want to redact the names that are
Yes,
in there.
yes, yes. Just do a general, probably like the years of service and.
Yeah.
Okay. Do either one of you want her to go through it one by one?
I'm okay,
I'm okay.
thank you.
So for the public
Thank you for putting
watching,
it together.
at some point we'll make that available on the website and for the public and our crews. Have to take a few names out and such, but I think that'd be the way to go, so. But we did a lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
Yeah.
always amazing when you start to write it down.
it really is. Station 3 notable mention in Firehouse Magazine.
I just wanted to make the board aware that Firehouse Magazine does a Station Design Awards annually. So for 2021, Station 63 got the Career 1 notable mention. A Career 1 classification is a station over 15,000 feet. So 15,000 square feet.
Great.
So we were excited to see that.
Yeah, they look like really nice pictures that were featured in the article.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a nice write-up.
Yeah, I saw them all.
Marshall.
Photo was a little blurred, but.
You can tell, good shape.
You know, is there any talk or thought of illuminating the 6 on the training tower? When you drive down the road, I mean, it would be so cool to have an LED light on that 6 on the training tower. You see it from miles away. Just a suggestion. By the way, the fire, that'd be under good of the order, but the Christmas lights look great.
They did.
63, yeah.
We have discussed eliminating that 6, and we just have kind of kicked the can around, only because the location where the lighting would have to be, how does that negatively impact training on the tower, and do we end up breaking it?
How much will it cost?
Yeah. So. But that was actually my vision too.
It would look cool.
It would look cool.
And then all it takes is a switch.
Yeah.
We'll put it on the list.
Thanks.
Any other new business? Do you have any comments, Chief? One must be doing something. Roundtable good of order. We don't need an executive session, do we? Roundtable good of order, anything?
My thoughts were, I just want to thank you guys for, the years that I've been here, and I can't think of how I could be more happy of where we are from where we were when I came on board, and we were in great shape then, and we're in really good shape now, going forward. And I told Chief, I said, I'm really proud of the quality people we're able to retain here, and the direction that we're going, and I'll be in the community for sure, and I couldn't be more proud to be third generation, serving this fire district and in my community. So with that, thank you very much, and I'll be watching.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, we need to authorize December issuance of payroll warrants, authorize December payroll direct deposits, authorize December deposit of federal FICA, med withholding, authorize pre-authorization invoice transmittals, and authorize payment of current bills.
So moved.
Motion moved.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. With that, meeting's adjourned. And the mic is still on.